If you grew up in the 70s like I did, you spent a lot of time with the 7 castaways on Gilligan's Island. Gilligan, the skipper, the millionaire, his wife, the movie star, the professor, and Mary Ann were effectively babysitters for a generation of latchkey kids. If you're not familiar with Gilligan's Island, it was a sitcom that ran for 9 seasons on CBS beginning in 1964. The show was created by Sherwood Schwartz and it was a massive success. Something a lot of people don't know, though, is that although Schwartz denies it, apparently he created each character with the notion of one of the 7 deadly sins in mind, that would sort of dictate their general behavior and persona. I love this theory. I think it's great, and it actually traces pretty effectively. So think about it. Gilligan is sloth. Pretty lazy, didn't do a lot. He had to have his ass kicked by the skipper a lot just to do anything or to help out. And obviously Skipper is wrath. He is kicking Gilligan in the ass. He's yelling and screaming a lot. He's a very angry person. The millionaire, Mr. Hal, is of course greed. His wife, Mrs. Hal, I think is gluttony. She just kind of consumes and doesn't really contribute anything, and she just wants more and more and more. Of course, the movie star Ginger is lust. Mary Ann, the only slightly less beautiful, and some would argue even that, but for the sake of the show's construct, the slightly less beautiful Mary Ann is envy, who wants to be Ginger. And then, of course, the professor is pride, very proud of his intelligence and his smarts, which he is often displaying to the group. I love this theory. I think it's really cool, and I've thought about it a lot over the years. But something I've thought a lot about recently is what social media platform would each of the 7 castaways be drawn to? Where would they be spending most of their time? And I think I've got it figured out. I think Gilligan is TikTok. People are strangely friendly on TikTok. There's not a lot of criticism or critique. There's a lot of support, which is kind of how I see Gilligan. So I think he'd be on TikTok a lot. The skipper is, of course, X or Twitter. Everybody's angry over there, yelling at each other and putting everybody down. The skipper is definitely X. Mr. Hal is LinkedIn, duh. Greed, money, career. Mrs. Hal, I think, is Facebook, because it's really only old people on Facebook, right? And that's coming from a guy with a lot of gray, but I think Facebook's the old person's platform. Ginger, of course, is lust and therefore Instagram, very showy, wants to show her images of herself to her followers. Mary Ann seems pretty crafty to me. I think Mary Ann is Pinterest. And then the professor wants to dive really deep into subjects and spends a lot of time on Reddit to do so. So I think that tracks pretty nicely. And what it means is nothing. Just an interesting way to spend an afternoon and to make a video.